So this is going to be a movie review. This one's called Petey Wheatstraw, 1977. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I love this flick. Petey Wheatstraw, the devil's son-in-law. I can't read the rest of the movie poster, but he tries to kick Satan's arse at the end. I love that scene. He's doing his Rudy Ray Moore rhyming. His Ghetto Boys, Willie D. Jive talking. Also known as Petey Wheatstraw, the Devil's Son-in-Law, is a 1977 U.S. blaxploitation comedy film written and directed by Cliff Rogemore and starring comedian Rudy Ray Moore, alongside Jimmy Lynch, Leroy Daniels, Ernest Mahan, Ebony Wright, and wild man Steve Gallen. It is a typical of Moore's other films from the same era, such as Dolomite and The Human Tornado. I love Dolomite. Another great flick. Petey Wheatstraw, Rudy Ray Moore, is born during a great Miami hurricane, and after difficult labor by his mother, he emerges as a talking, diaper-wearing 6-year-old boy, promptly attacks the doctor, and then his father for disturbing me in my sleep every night. His mother stops him, puts him in his place, and names him Petey Wheatstraw. While a young teenager, after being beaten up by a gang, Petey meets a mentor named Bantu, who teaches him the philosophy of kung fu and self-respect, taking a vow not to bow before any man. Living or dead, Petey grows up to become a successful nightclub comedian who books a series of shows at a club in Los Angeles called Steve's Den, much to the dismay of comedy rivals Leroy and Skillet. These two guys are funny when they get up on stage. They're kind of corny when they're talking their movie lines. Leroy and Skillet have just borrowed a large sum of money from the mob to finance their own part opening at another club the following day, realizing that their show is likely to fail with Petey in town and therefore default on the loan and putting their lives at risk. They beg Petey to delay his act. When Petey refuses to do so, Leroy and Skillet's henchmen gun down Petey's business partner, Ted's little brother, Larry, and then attempt to wipe out Petey himself at the boy's funeral at a Baptist church, I might add, by machine gunning the entire party. Of course, it's a Baptist church. And the scene where the boy gets killed, the two are eating watermelon right before he gets killed. This movie is nuts. Mortally wounded, Petey is visited by Lou Cypher, the devil himself, who tells him that his death was a mistake. He is willing to undo Petey's death on one condition: that Petey marry the devil's daughter, who's very ugly, by the way. She's got horns. And provide him with a grandson. Petey nearly quashes the deal when he sees a picture of the devil's ugly daughter. It looks like Nigerian hell, this place where the devil takes him. But he hears the sound of Bantu and he decides to make a deal. Bad decision. You never deal with the devil. You do what Jesus did, and you tell the devil to go take a hike. Be gone, devil. Petey and his friends are brought back to life, and Petey tells them of the devil's deal and his plans to gain revenge on Leroy and Skillet, as well as trick the devil by not marrying his daughter. Yeah, good luck with that. The devil is very crafty. Armed with the devil's own magic pimp cane, Petey sets out to exact his revenge. He uses the cane's magic to do good in his community in South Central Los Angeles, while also humiliating his rivals. However, demons begin appearing in Petey and his friends' lives as a reminder of the deal he made. It was a bad decision to begin with. You never should have done that, Petey. Petey is able to outsmart them, going as far as to have sex with a room full of demon women with such stamina that they all fail. They all fall unconscious because he's Petey Wheatstraw. After finally getting even with Leroy and Skillet by having them killed by the mob, Petey confronts the devil with his own cane, sets him on fire. That was a great scene. Casting him off a roof to his apparent death. But Petey is no Jesus. He breaks the cane in half. He gets in the car with his friends, sure that their ordeal is over. Wow. All right, release date November 1977 in North America, running time 95 minutes. Petey Wheatstraw was released on DVD 2002 as part of the Dolomite Collection box set, which was a disc that I got from Netflix. It was very hard to play, by the way. It kept stopping, and I couldn't start it again. In July 2016, the film was restored in 2K, and it was released on DVD and Blu-ray by Vinegar Syndrome. As of November 2020, the film is available for streaming on IMDb's Free Dive video channel. Maybe I should use Free Dive instead of Amazon Prime. Let's see what else I can pull up on Petey Wheatstraw. This is my last movie review for this weekend because I'm in the middle of Renegade. I got to work on my list. I'm sure as soon as we finish eating, my son asked me to go take a walk. Because it's not good to be on the computer all day long. Let's see. Petey Wheatstraw, rated R, an hour 40 minutes. Gets a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, which isn't too bad. It's pretty decent. Not bad. I'm rating him not too obscure. People know about this. After being murdered by his wife, after being murdered by his rivals, Petey Wheatstraw is resurrected in exchange for marrying the devil's daughter, the world's ugliest woman. Okay, more like this. The Human Tornado, which I have not seen. Disco Godfather, which I have not seen, but it's on YouTube. Dolomite, which I have seen. Another great one. And the Dolomite Explosion. Petey Wheatstraw was a St. Louis blues singer who was quite popular in the 30s, known as the High Sheriff from Hell and the Devil's Son-in-Law. I guess that's where they got the name for the movie. In the closing credits, the martial arts performers are listed as Marshall, misspelled M-A-R-S-H-A-L-L, martial arts performers. Quotes Petey, oh, hell no. No. I won't marry her, deal or no deal. Kill me, man. Kill me, Cliff Roquemore's directing credits says he's a Libra. Who cares? Featured in Legend of Dolomite, 1994. Soundtracks Petey Wheatstraw, written by Nat Dove and Mary Love, performed by Mary Love. All right. Here's a review from Brando647, dated July 21st, 2012. Fun but not as entertaining as the Dolomite movies. In 1977, comedian Rudy Ray Moore must have gotten tired of the same old Dolomite routine, and he wanted to branch out into new characters rather than go through all the trouble of developing a new character with its own brand of humor. Moore and writer-director Cliff Rogamore created a carbon copy of the Dolomite character and slapped a new name on him. Thus, we are blessed with Moore's third film, Petey Wheatstraw, the Devil's Son-in-Law. I'm not sure why they saw the need to create an all-new character, but there you have it. If you're a fan of Moore's previous Dolomite movies, there's enough here to elicit some chuckles. It's Moore's usual brand of humor with the same flaws we've come to expect from his movies. Petey Wheatstraw Moore is what else? A comedian born to his mother as a near 10-year-old child with a watermelon. He is soon taken under the tutelage of the wild old Bantu who teaches him martial arts and the importance of wisdom. Years later, as Petey's comedy career explodes, he becomes the target of bumbling duo Leroy and Skillet. The two want to off the comedian before his local performance can damage the profits from the grand opening of their own club. At first, it appears their plan has worked, and Petey is gunned down, but the devil has other plans for the comedian. He gives Petey the chance to return to life and to seek vengeance in return for marrying his ugly daughter and giving him a son. Also, there's a magic pimp cane. As I made my way through my collection of Rudy Ray Moore movies, Petey Wheatstraw is about where my interest began to wane, but not enough to keep me from enjoying the film. It's chock full of Moore's trademark humor with the added absurdity of the supernatural storyline. Even after 2 movies and a few years of experience, Moore and his crew still haven't learned how to tell a proper structured story on film. The movie, as with the 2 previous, is all over the place. The first act is all about Leroy and Skillet's attempt at sidetracking Petey from performing the same night as their grand opening. The second act introduces the devil plot, but continues to focus on Petey's vengeance against his attempted murderers and discovering his new powers via the magic cane. And then the final act, which almost feels tacked on, as Petey is trying to outsmart the devil and avoid the marriage to the Prince of Darkness' hideous daughter. The whole Devil's Son-in-Law portion of the movie is largely unimportant until the final 30 minutes, after the whole Leroy Skillet plot has been resolved and most movies would end. It's a shame, too, because the whole Devil storyline, the part I was most interested in watching, has some of the better WTF moments. It should have been the focus of the movie. With its horrible makeup effects and crappy professional wrestling style demons, there are some awesome fight sequences that'll have you laughing so hard it hurts. There's a lot of promise for a comedian like Moore in such a bizarre concept, but it's all wasted for yet another save the club plot. Another interesting point I've noticed, the movie is obsessed with watermelon. Seriously, there's a lot of it here. Petey's mother gives birth to one, characters are always eating it, and a truckload of watermelons is even blown up. It's everywhere, and this is the only Moore film where he plays so heavily on the stereotype. Not important, just something that really stood out to me. Anyway, the cast is really what makes this movie so fun. Moore is doing his usual routine, but the rest of the cast adds some new flavor. Larry Reed is missing from this movie, and you won't hear a complaint from me. For a woman who was billed as a comedian, she couldn't act, and I was glad to see she sat this one out. Leroy and Skillet are probably the best part of the movie. I'll agree with that. A couple of goons Their evil scheming and their total idiocy are some of the funniest bits. As funny as the duo are, I would have liked to see them show up in more of Moore's movies. Me too. And then there's the devil himself, G.T. Tito Shaw. I love the man. I love it. The man is chewing up the scenery with his bravado and attempt at a commanding presence. The characters are blast, and the humor hasn't quite run dry in Petey Wheatstraw. So while it's a little boring at times and the structure needs some serious work, I would still recommend this movie to fans of Moore's movies. So would I. All right. Well, that's the end of my review. Petey Wheatstraw. Highly recommended. Check it out. And I'll work on my list now, if my son will let me. He's probably going to tell me to get off the computer soon. Later.